Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Nellie Ruth Designs. Well, we're going to start the first few pages in this little art book. If you are new to my channel and you haven't seen my small art books, I do have a playlist. You can find that and take a look at all the fun little collage art pieces I've done in these small books. I will link the video as to how I made this little book here. It's made out of a former soap box. And these are just the cutest little books. They're so easy to make. Very, very easy. Nothing intimidating about it. I will link that, and then you could make one for yourself if you choose to. And I think I've decided that for this book here, I may have to put some of those little metal tips on because these are going to fray. So we could probably do that as well. But for this book, I think I am going to go with the reds and the greens, the different shades, and white and black. So I think this will be kind of fun. It's going to be a challenge because I don't know how much red I do have. I do have some art books that are going to be quite fun to use. The cut and paste. They're probably going to be mostly from Maramie's Small Art, because there are so many fun pieces in here. And I do love flowers. I try not to use a lot of flowers, but they are my go-to. And I think this one I'm going to incorporate more sayings and verses instead of just all art. So we'll get started. You'll see what my ideas and my intentions are. So I want to welcome everybody. I'm so happy to have you at my craft table. So for this video, I'm going to do the front page, and then I'm going to do these two inside pages. And I'm going to try to keep it short. I have done a little bit of play prior to see what's going to adhere and what will look good on these craft pages. I haven't done a lot with craft pages, but I do love the natural look to them. And I really do like working on the white. And the other thing I want to tell you is, if you go back and you look at my color cube videos, I've done some horizontal collaging. I'm going to do some of that on these white pages. So I intentionally, there won't be a lot because you can see that they're mixed with the craft. But whenever there is a spread, I'm going to be doing horizontal collaging. And I think that'll be just a lot of fun. I love that style. So, all right, so let me show you what I pulled out so far. Let's set that aside for just a minute. I have a glass mat over here, and I pulled out my white acrylic ink, okay? We're going to be using that today. And then I pulled out my black Posca pen. All right, I've had to give all of these a good shake. I bought these a few years back. I haven't even used these. And then I'm going to be using my little Joggles stencil. And this one is, these are the 3x4 ATC stencils from Joggles. And I'm not sure what this one is because I threw the cover away. I do want to tell you, let's see here, if it states it on, oh yeah, this is Bumpy Ride. So I probably should hang on to these, huh? But this is Bumpy Ride. See that there. We're going to be using that. And I've already, I will confess, the other night there was a supermoon, and I was awake from 12:45 to 4 a.m. It was awful. And I came in my room about 2:30 a.m. and I pulled some pieces already for the front cover or for the front page, And then this was a leftover piece here. This was attached to this. So I cut the whole thing out. Let me just put it down so you can see. That was attached like that. And I just cut this off and I said, I will use this on the second page. I'm not going to leave anything behind. No ephemera gets left behind on this one. So, and I've already have some things. I pulled a ticket. All right. So I am going to try to do that. I'm going to try to cut and pull things ahead of time so my videos can be a little bit shorter for you. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work, like I said, on this first page here. And I definitely wanted to have something that would match this here, the inside cover. Once I move on, I can add maybe a different hue as we go along. But I definitely wanted to use a red here. And this fits just fine on this page. I do have to cut this down a little bit. And I do hope everyone is doing well. It was a rainy night, and it's kind of clearing this morning. So when you create these mini collages, you just kind of have to see what you want to add, what you know, obviously, that's a silly statement, Barbie. If you want to add anything to paint or anything else to the back. This I have to adjust. This is a little bit shorter page. You can see this here. Let me grab a piece of white paper. So you can see this is a little bit shorter than the other. So I just have to make sure that this fits on here. And I'm going to put that right down in that corner. I'll move this over a little bit. If I wanted to, I could cut that stem off. I don't know if I want to do that. Or I could just cover it up like that. Just see what it... Yeah, that's not bad. I like that. So I'll just cover that up like that. I'm going to get this in position. Then I can move this over just a tad. Then when I cover the stem, I just want to make sure that of course, I don't have any of my... Oh, here it is. Thinking, where did my art glitter glue go? But it was way over on the left-hand side. So what I'm going to do first, before I put all of this down, I'm going to make sure I like how this is. And I guess I really don't mind if that butterfly is up just a little bit, landing on that flower. All right, so I'm going to put that right here. I'm just going to attach it so it doesn't lose its place. Okay, so there we have that, like that. Then I can just pop that back on there. All right. I guess maybe I will keep this here, so that way you can see where the page actually is. So I want to add this little S&H green step, and I'm not going to take this little piece off here just because it adds, it just adds a little something on there. probably came off when I rubbed it, but that's okay. So I'm going to put that little stamp there, the old S&H green stamps. And when you make these books, just use what you have. I don't want that upside down, but I do want that there. So I can tuck that in. I was going to put that somewhere else, but I want to be able to do just a little bit of mark making on here. Like that, just to hug that there. All right, now I can glue this whole thing down. Sometimes it's just easier to do it this way instead of gluing down one little piece and then, you know, trying to fit everything on, underneath, around, beside. And then I always put a piece here, and then I just grab my paddle. Okay. And I always put something over my collage, because if I were just to use, you know, you don't have to. Just go in one direction. Don't rub back and forth, because you could catch something, a petal or a leaf, and you would rip and tear. So we have this here. I'm going to get everything. I'll get this. This is all down here. And then I think what I'm going to do is, I have a white Posca, and I'm just going to make a few little dots and marks around this, just to brighten up and lighten up the sides here. Okay. And again, I'm going to put this paper here. This is my scrapbooking paper. I have to put the year the boys were born and then up to further ages. So when I do their books, I don't have to count on my fingers. It's my little cheat sheet. And this is where you just start to have fun and incorporate little bits and pieces here and there. All right, and I think that's all I'm going to do there. I don't want to overdo it. Where's my top? Here it is. I don't want to overdo it, because I don't want to take away from the flower. If you want to add a word, if you want to add a saying, if you want to add a date, might be kind of fun to stamp. You could stamp a date on there as well. If you have one of these office stamps, you could do a little date. There's a lot of little things that you could do. You could just add some sort of I have like a coffee stain. I've got a coffee ring stain. Let's grab that, and maybe I could do a couple little coffee rings. All right, so I found them finally, and I'm not going to do, these are kind of big, They're not as small as I thought that they were. And I have a little acrylic here. And I'm going to try this. I'm going to test this out. Whoop. I'm going to test, I've got another set of stamps too. I'm going to test it out on this here. I'm going to use my distressed ink. I don't want to use black. And I'm only going to, I just want to make a little one on the side here and maybe down below. I don't want it to go, I don't want to just put a big one on there, but I want to see how this, okay, that's good. I feel like these inks are starting to run out on me. Okay. And I always test just to make sure that it's not too light, too dark, especially on, like I said, this craft paper. I have not used, I haven't done any artwork on the craft paper, so I'm not really sure how things take to it, are going to take to it. And I'm just looking for a scrap piece of paper. I'll use this paper. A scrap of paper just to put in here like this. And I'm not doing this on a hard surface either. So that's can sometimes make a difference as well. And I'm just kind of getting that. See that? So there's just a little tiny bit here and there. So, okay, so I like that. That's good. So that first page is done. Okay. All right. I like that. And I do have, I brought these out, and I think I'm going to put a word, because you know me with my words. These were gifted to me. But this is illustratedfaith.com. And these have some really nice words on them. Rest, sing, dream, live, grow, thrive, count tall joy, all things new. I think this one here, I'm going to put sing. One thing I can't do. I've started humming in church when I go to Mass. My boys told me years ago that I couldn't sing, and I can't sing. So I hum now. All right, let's see. I think, is this the way it goes? Nope, that's backwards and upside down. I think this way. Yep, sing. Okay. And for this one here, I'm going to use my StazOn because I want it to show up a little bit more. And again, I'm going to test it on this. Okay. And I think I'm going to put it right over here. We'll see how this goes. Or maybe I'll put it up here. There we go. Sing. Yeah, I like that. Okay. See that? Okie dokie. All right, so let's go on to, yeah, I like that a lot. Sing. Well, I wish I had put it over a little bit more, but that's okay. I can say that's how I planned it. All right, so on this page here, these two, I have this that I want to put here. And then I have the other part of the flower. Looks like a tulip, doesn't it? And then I'm going to use this butterfly. So that's my intentions. If I have a larger piece and I have to cut something off of them, I'm going to use them throughout the book. And then over here, I'm going to put a saying, all right? I think on this background, though, this is where I want to use my joggles behind here a little bit. I don't want to cover the whole thing. And I'm just debating. I think I want to put a little bit over on this side as well. So I'm going to, we're going to carry that on both pages. So I'm going to move my, and I hope I don't have too much of a glare here. I'm not going to put it on here, but I want you to know, let's see, I'm going to put, because it's just going to be too much of a glare with my big lamp up ahead. I'm going to put a little bit more of this ink right here. Okay. And I have my brush and I'm just going to mix it. There we go. It's like magic. I'm just going to mix it and bring it over and use my stencil here. And again, I want to put a paper underneath this, so I guess I will continue to use this one. Okay. All right. I may have to put a little bit more. And I'm just going to do a little bit here and there. Isn't that fun? You don't have to do a lot. You can also do it this way or this side, because I'm going to put the, I'm just going to lighten this up a little bit. I'm going to put a few little patches of white on here. And I think that'll be good, because this is where I'm going to put the saying. I don't know if I want to have this behind it. So we're just going to do that for now. And again, these books are just supposed to be simple, easy, just something to play with. Get the blood flowing in your craft room. Not overcomplicated. I think I'm going to add a little bit more there. I'm just putting some more ink over on my glass mat. I need to get some more of these brushes. I thought I had more, but I don't. Okay, there we go. All right. Yeah, I think that'll be good. All right, so let's put this down here. So yesterday was a fun day. I grabbed my daughter-in-law. She's 5.5 months pregnant now. I grabbed my daughter-in-law. I'm gonna throwing a shower for her in November. And I'm having it out. I'm having it in a restaurant, really nice restaurant. We're going to do a luncheon. There's only going to be like 20 people there. So we went down yesterday and we planned the menu in the setup of the room, and it's going to be nice. It's going to be just before Thanksgiving. It's the weekend before Thanksgiving. And it'll be really festive, and we're going to be having, you know, some nice comfort foods, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be very intimate. I want this to come down a little bit more. I'm going to do it like that. All right, so let's get this down first. So it was a beautiful day yesterday. So it was nice. There's a beautiful, the place that we're having it at, the restaurant, it's, they have a beautiful, huge wraparound porch. It's a building that's all made out of stone. It used to be an old folks home many, many, many years ago, like in the 40s and 50s. And I always love to hear the stories because it is haunted. There's 5 apartments upstairs on the 2nd and 3rd floor. And the owner, he took me down into his office is in the basement. And I said to him, I'm like, aren't you, because there's always been rumors that there's ghosts there. I said, aren't you afraid to be down here? He said, no, they're friendly ghosts. You know, every now and then I know that they're down here. They'll let me know. Something will drop, or, you know, I can smell them walk by. There's certain scents that come across. And then I was talking to the hostess and the manager with the owner yesterday, and I know the owner really well. I used to babysit when she had her first baby, and I asked the manager if there's been any activity, and she says, oh yeah. She says, there always is. She goes, one night I was standing, she showed me the area where she was standing in, and she goes, and I caught this whiff of Jean Naté, and it just lingered, and I knew that it was one of the ghosts. She goes, they're all friendly, you know. She goes, I think they like what's going on, and they just want to come down and be with the people and all of this stuff. And she goes, I kept smelling the Jean Naté, but when I walked to the next table, it was gone. I would walk back to the spot I was in, and I could smell it. She goes, eventually it dissipated. I couldn't smell it, so I knew that they had left. And she says, there's a gentleman that comes down and stands with me when I greet people before they're seated. And I know that he's there because there's no smoking in the building or outside. And she says, there's a very sweet smell of a sweet pipe smell, like he must have smoked a pipe, and I can smell the sweetness of the tobacco. And I would walk away and I couldn't smell. I come back, I could smell it. And she goes, I just wanted to make sure that that's what I was smelling. So I had a couple of people from the wait staff. She goes, come over here, tell me what you smell. She goes, I smell a pipe. They're both like, I smell a pipe. She goes, okay, I just wanted to make sure. So they do have frequent visitors that come into the restaurant. But I love asking him, like, any activity? Anybody been around lately? But it's such a beautiful, beautiful building. I think if I had lived there and passed away, I wouldn't want to leave it either. So we did that yesterday. Okay, so we're getting this stamped up. And again, this is the Stays On. And this has a really sweet smell to it. Okay, so we're going to put that on this side. And again, you can use whatever you want in your book. If you want to use this, say, like as a little prayer art journal, it'd be wonderful to put verses in here that you enjoy. If you want to do like a meditation type journal, you could put all different kind of Zen and mantras in here. There we go. Oh, that came out good. All right. And then I think around this, I'm going to leave this maybe just a few little dots up here, and then I'm going to do maybe just something up around here. Maybe not. I might just leave it like that. Again, you know, I don't want to overdo the pages, but I do want to just add a little bit of pieces here and there. I'll add a, I don't know if I want to do that. I'll add a couple over here. I'll fill this in over here. Okay. And then I think I'm going to leave this just the way it is. I don't want to add anything to that. So that I think we're off to a good start in this little journal. Again, it's something that you can do, sit down and just put on some nice music, play, and do whatever you want. So, that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm really excited about working in this book. It's going to be a lot of fun. And again, you can make complicated collages, I mean, with a lot of layering and stuff. You can just make simple, pretty little pages. And I like it that, because I have so many wonderful stamps with sayings on them, it's just going to be nice to open it up and read these little sayings and look at the artwork. So that's it for today, my friends. If you enjoyed this video, I would love to have you give me a thumbs up, leave a comment. Let me know if you are starting an art journal, and I will see you in my next video. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.